I decided to take over Tuesdays here at Reach Out Reptiles. Now, for those of you who are already fans of Morph Mixology, this conversation might seem very familiar to you. We filmed this here at Reach Out Reptiles the last time Jason Bigler was in town. We had a lot of fun discussing some of the issues in the reptile industry, and it was really nice to get a few different perspectives. I hope you guys enjoy this, and stay tuned for some really exciting videos with some awesome people coming up here every Tuesday.
Well, we're back. And now what do we want to talk about? I think you get the call. What are some of the interesting conversation topics we've been having off camera that we should probably recount?
There's been a lot.
There's been a lot.
What were we talking about on the way there? We were like, quit talking.
Well, Garrett was just telling me to stop talking in general. But one of the things that you and I had discussed, I remember you actually called me and I was at the gym. I don't know if you realized that or not when we were talking about the cages.
No, but it's a nice way to let everyone know that you work out or whatever.
Flex on him.
Yeah, so
Careful, you're gonna bust out that shirt.
One of the things
He's flexing now. He's flexing pretty hard.
Gonna sit up.
You guys can't see it maybe from this angle, but there's a little vein bulge.
Oh, look at that! Look at that muscle over this
one. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I'll flex my loins.
So no, one of the things that you and I have talked about at length is caging in general.
Caging.
And professional caging, DIY caging, the cost of caging, bringing new products to market, the whole 9 yards. Obviously, I run a much smaller profit, I would imagine, than you guys do that have been this a lot longer. So when I'm looking to upgrade away from DIY stuff, and all my subscribers are probably leaving now that I'm telling them this.
We all thought you were going to start providing a caging system for the rest of us with all of your vast DIY experience.
Well, I mean,
what the heck? Am I right?
I mean,
am I right?
My subscribers know where to get semi-professionally made cages and racks from. I don't have the time, space, or resources to make caging professionally.
Okay.
And I've had plenty of people ask me to build them racks and that I have, or like the new displays that I did.
So what's your beef with the caging industry?
Freedom breeder stuff is phenomenal. There's no doubt about it. But it's the cost of barrier to entry seems like it's crazy, and that's what I talked to you about, because I have been looking at going commercial PVC, the TGRs, the sea serpents, the V, the stuff like that.
Yep.
Or going ARS because I like that industrial look of the metal racks and all the matching tubs and everything else. And a lot of people say, well, they're quite a bit cheaper and they're powder coated, they look like they're finished. But I've talked to a number of breeders from 40 animals to 4,000. It seems like there's something to be said about the longevity and the overall customer experience and stuff like that with, say, Freedom Breeder in particular. This is not necessarily an ad, and I'm certainly not sponsored by Freedom Breeder, but you've just overhauled your entire room with all Freedom Breeder racks.
Okay.
Because you came from plywood DIY. I mean, hell, you still got, build it yourself stuff in here. So, two-part question. Where do you stand on the upgrade path when it comes to wanting to go to more of a professional setup?
Mm-hmm.
And or if you were to start from zero today, do you invest this large sum of your money up front in professional caging, or is this DIY thing that we do make sense?
This is not a caging question, just so you guys know. This is a metrics question. When is something worth it to purchase versus do it yourself? Now, you've heard the saying, time is money, and it's usually very high-paid people saying that. Yeah. Because they get paid a lot of money for their time. Okay. So they don't have the time to work for things. So time is their most valuable metric because they don't have it. They're too damn busy. Okay, now, if you have a lot of time but you don't have any money, then money is going to be your most valuable metric because you don't have it. And it hurts you to give up money. At a certain point, when you make enough money, it now hurts you to give up time, and then time becomes money.
Okay.
So this is the problem. We talked about breeding rodents at the same time. You're like, from a cost perspective, breeding rodents is great. No, it's not. And I'll tell you why. I don't have the time to change water and feed and all that kind of stuff and do all the, answer the 300 emails and do whatever I'm going to do. So I have to pick and choose my battles. I have to delegate the rest. So if I have to breed rodents, I'm going to have to hire an Aiden to do it, pay workers' comp on them, pay the taxes and insurances and stuff that I have to pay, and then all the other costs that are associated with employment, and then take that on as a management position so that I can have rodent. It's better for me to just say, listen, I would rather pay you a giant order to hit like a certain quantity and get a wholesale discount, because it's going to shave what the general retail person might pay for, say, a jumbo rat. I might pay a third of that.
Okay.
Because I'm buying $10,000 at once.
I just started breeding rats myself, where it does make sense for a small breeder to breed their own rats. And then seems to transition after a certain point in your collection where you're spending most of your times, with the snakes, cleaning snake tubs, feeding the snakes, doing all that stuff with the snakes, where you don't have the time to take care of the rats anymore, and it seems like it costs you more after a certain point.
I think as soon as you're busy enough that you have to pay somebody else to do it, it's no longer worth it.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about like rodent meat per pound cost. I'm not talking about, well, Garrett, I need to have a constant source of live rat pups because the snakes I work with are difficult. Like, I don't have that problem. Superdors will eat a wooden spoon if you put it in there. You know what I mean?
Witness that.
Yeah.
Some of them come
Welcome
flying
to
out
Superdors,
there.
yeah. I'm like, you guys might want to open those tubs with hooks. They're like, why?
It's amazing. So I opened the tub and I was like, oh, I wonder if she's in here. And all of a sudden, lightning bolt, she was out.
That's funny.
Like,
We take, and he's like, this one's got it out for me. And I take it out and handle it for 2 seconds and handle it to him. He's like, I love how chill they are.
It's a different story when they're flying out the tub at you.
Yeah. But anyway, caging is the exact same thing. So here's the deal. If I have the DIY cages, which I've had DIY racks, caging, stuff like that, and then I hire Aiden to come in and clean everything, it's going to take him 30 hours of work to go through and clean the reptile cage, and it's never going to quite be up to my standard of cleanliness that I want to keep the animals in. And, that's not his fault. He's been working for us for almost a year, and I have 20 years experience plus scrubbing snake cages, right? Now, on the other hand, if I have all freedom breeders, I can cut 30 hours of labor costs that I'm paying down to 10 by making a one-time investment in a caging system. Oh, by the way, you said you've been doing this for like 2 years. Well, when you get to year 5, your cages look pretty shabby. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying your cages.
Mine are perfect.
Well, obviously. What I mean is the DIY cages don't hold up over time. You know what I mean? You're constantly fighting things like they're leaking now and it's getting stinky and it's hard to sanitize or whatever.
Yeah.
The freedom breeder cages, I mean, I have been in, friends' facilities and stuff that still have freedom breeders from when I was a teenager, and they're still holding up. So that's really old.
Somebody just getting into the hobby, say they have
fellas.
$6,000 to invest.
Yeah.
Do you think that person should invest in buying like freedom breeder?
Is this person a CEO of his own company and wants to enjoy snakes and not spend time taking care of them? Or do they enjoy their snakes as they take care of them? Because if it's the CEO and you have $6,000 and you're going to get a few snakes and you can get the single wide freedom breeder stack, you can park it in your man cave garage next to your Ferrari and go down and be like, ding, 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 clean.
He has a Ferrari but only $6,000?
Yeah, well, it's not a CEO.
I'm not saying
it's somebody
$6,000 to his name. I'm saying $6,000 budget to get in.
It's somebody who spent the last 10 months saving up,
Well, then, you build your own cage.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, because there's a certain amount of labor cost and material cost. And like you were making the argument of freedom breeder versus ARS, what you have to realize is like that comparison, nothing against ARS, but it is apples to oranges because a powder coated cage is not the same as a stainless steel cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's less of an issue with the reptiles. But when you get into rodents, it becomes a pretty big difference. So you have to decide if you need that, if you need that stainless steel, last forever in its raw finish type of a thing.
Well, and I say a lot too if people, the subscribers ask me or whatever about building their own stuff for my plans, and the vast majority of the stuff I have is built out of melamine, because I don't have ready access to PVC,
which most people don't.
And so because of that, you know, now you're building stuff that is susceptible to water damage and swelling and issues, splitting sides, stuff like that. It weighs 7,000 pounds when you're done.
So does PVC, but go ahead.
Not nearly as heavy though when it's all said and done.
Mine's 3/4 inch PVC.
Fair enough. So I aspire to be a breeder, whether full-time or otherwise. I got to have a professional setup and then look at the barrier of entry when it comes to cost.
This is how it works. You get the snakes you want. You start the breeding project. Hopefully you did a little bit of planning. Maybe you watched some videos about how to invest in animals and made some wise decisions up front. You build your own cages. You do the best job you can. You set all that stuff up. And then you fight against the system of your DIY caging and all the little hiccups and problems and bumps and things that, you know, decades of experience over at Freedom Breeder has made them, they can easily and quickly manufacture the perfect problem-free cage. You know what I mean? Versus you saying, I'll try this for the first time and see how it goes. I watched this guy on Morph Mixology and his stuff seemed okay. Maybe I'll do that. Really, it's just the first one he ever built too, and he put a camera on it.
That's absolutely true.
So you literally fight it through for the first season, 2 seasons. You know what I mean? Maybe you get enough money to show your wife, see, honey, I'm not a complete idiot. You know, I made a little bit of money.
That happens.
Oh yeah, you guys. This is if you don't know this, you certainly are a newbie. The first thing you do when you turn your first profit in reptiles, guys, don't go buy more reptiles. You idiot.
Damn,
okay?
that was the plan. That was the plan.
Take your wife to Tahiti and say, see, honey, don't you like the snakes? We're in Tahiti because of the snakes. And then you buy her support for the rest of your life and you can, you know, mortgage her house to buy more snakes next time. When your cages start to degrade, like I said, at year 5, like a melamine cage is haggard. You know, it's pretty haggard. So at that point, you have to do new cages anyways. And you're like, well, do I really want to spend money and build these cages again? The thought process in your mind is, look at these terrible cages, these 5-year-old saggy melamine cages. You know, do I really want to put money into building those again because I hate them? In reality, the new ones would be new again, so they're probably not quite as bad. Or do I want to take that money, put a little bit more of this monopoly money that I made over here that didn't come from my 9-to-5 job, it came from selling that one hot snake that I made last season, and then buy a new rack? And then, you know, most people in the reptile industry have a little bit of an ADD, you know, attitude to them. So you buy your first Freedom Breeder rack, then the rest of them have to match. Anyway.
I've got 3 PVC racks, and they're all 3 from different people.
Yeah.
But I figured...
It's fine at first, you don't care. But then when you, like, build a beautiful reptile room and none of your cages match, you're like, ah.
Well, I figured, because ideally I would like them to all be the same and from the same person, but I wanted to see like what I liked and what I didn't like. So I've got 3 different ones from 3 different people.
Yeah.
And I definitely like, you know,
so you're running a
more
test,
than the other.
long-term test.
Yeah.
But once you get to the point of like, hey, I want my racks to match, I mean, you're really talking about like hashtag first world problems at that point.
Right, yeah.
By and large, all those cages are a thing of the past, and the ones that I do see are like old Freedom Breeder racks still in use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see the old, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Help me out, guys. Bob Clark used to use them all the time, the wedge-shaped cages.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm brain farting. You guys know what I'm talking about.
The yellow ones.
Yeah, you can't even get them anymore. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name. But anyways,
boa file, that's not right.
No, they're more like a vision cage or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, the professionally built cages, they're not melamine cages. They're professionally built, like plastic injection molded or steel or whatever it is, materials that stand the test of time, and they're still running them. That's it for this one. Now we're going to keep wrapping, so jump on over to Morph Mixology and we'll go from there.